Hello and welcome. Do some shadow work with me. I have the Archetype cards by Carolyn Miss. Let's see what comes through. What aspects of self should we be aware of? With any archetype, with any personality characteristic, with any intention, there is light and shadow aspects, and it's helpful to be aware of both, so that we can be intentional about what we do, what we think, how we feel, how we show up in the world, and not just react from old programming and ways of being and what we've been led to believe, but actually make conscious choices as to what we think, feel, and do, so that we can consciously create our reality. So the first card we have is Teacher. And the light attribute is ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. And the shadow attribute is manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. What's coming to mind is that, first of all, there's a lot of information on social media now. And a lot of times we might resonate with what we see or hear, what someone says on social media. And sometimes we can resonate from an egoic place, and sometimes from higher consciousness. Sometimes we want to resonate with something because that's what we want to hear. And I think a healthier way is to take perspectives, even if it's uncomfortable and contradicts what we already know, if it's going to raise our vibration and our consciousness. And we are all teachers in some aspect, whether you do it as a profession, in the commonly accepted way as a teacher in a school, a college, university, whether you are teaching in spiritual practice, as a counselor, a guide, whether you are teaching your children, we are all teachers. And I think an important thing to remember is that a teacher is someone who empowers their students, whoever's learning from them, empowers them with knowledge and wisdom, as the card says, and skill to make informed choices, not to dictate what the choice should be, not to control or manipulate, to push something in a certain direction that is beneficial to the teacher. So not just saying what is going to increase followers or keep people coming back again and again. Because if you're empowering someone, you're giving them the skill, for instance, the skill of discernment, so that they can make choices, positive choices for themselves going forward, and not get them hooked on you so you benefit, and they don't, because now they constantly require your input for them to be able to make any type of choice, to live, to breathe, to do. So a teacher empowers. A teacher does not instill fear. A good teacher does not instill fear. A good teacher enlightens. So if the information you're passing on, whether it's in conversation, whether you're passing on a a video or an article, the information that you're passing on, is the intention to instill fear or to push an agenda? Or is it the intention to share information so people can see a new perspective and feel informed and enlightened and empowered, to to know that they have different choices, not just the choices they've been told? A key aspect of this is how you communicate the message you're trying to bring across. The energy that you find yourself in when you are sharing the message. There is communication beyond the words, and your energy can be felt by another, whether they realize it or not. Whether what you're sharing brings joy, brings peace, brings positive change, brings support, upliftment, motivation, inspiration, all those good things. Or is it breaking down someone's confidence? Is it scaring someone? And again, yes, someone can feel fear for their own reasons, whether you are sharing a positive, uplifting, empowerment message or not. But you will know for yourself what it is that you're doing. At the bottom of the deck here, we have the God archetype, and the light attribute is benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And the shadow attribute is despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. And again, I love these archetype cards because they go well together. I think in spirituality and religion, there are instances when the teacher is put above the student, and it's important to recognize that God is within all, the teacher and the student. If anyone is using power to control you, or you're giving away your power, or they're trying to assume power over you, then that's not a balanced interaction. It's not a balanced transaction, relationship. And it would be a good idea to reevaluate yourself if you are in the teacher role in whichever way, or the student role in whichever way. Which makes me think of the schooling system and how it works today. I remember as a child, there was always this fear of your teachers. And I think that fear was used to keep order and structure. But that, when you have to use fear to make things work harmoniously, then you are disempowered as the teacher. You don't have the necessary skills to keep engagement and to have respect from the students, and you're most likely not showing respect if you're not receiving it back. And I mean, this can happen between relationships between parent and child as well, where we assert our dominance over our children, demanding respect when it's something that needs to be modeled. And it's not easy because there's so many different factors that come into play. The dynamics in the household or in the learning environment, like the ratio of adults to children, the resources available, time spent, energy spent. But in any healthy dynamic, whether you are the teacher or the student, there is a give and take, and not just in one direction, but in both directions, where engaging with your students, whoever you're engaging with, that you're sharing wisdom, skills, knowledge with, their upliftment and empowerment gives back to you. So if what you're sharing is negatively affecting them, it's going to give you a negative response and a negative feedback. But if what you're sharing is positive, it's going to positively benefit whoever's learning from you, and in that way it gives back to you energetically. So that's a good barometer to test where you are at as either the teacher or the student. I hope that's helpful and sheds a little bit of light. We have probably the same type of dynamics in every relationship, whether it's with your partner, your romantic partner, or a friend or a colleague. We all reverse roles. Even in a teacher-student, in a learning environment, the children can be teachers, and you can learn from them as well.